Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be watching a video called Craziest Moments in F1 History. I'm guessing it's going to be like a lot of crazy moments because when you're driving like cars up to like 300 kilometers per hour, I think it's more than 300. Obviously, like it's bound to happen like some insane things. I don't really know how like these drivers actually like drive those cars. I've seen some videos of them, like how the car gets built and stuff, and they are in like an insane position. They're like almost like they're not like sitting, they're just sort of like laying around, and they're just like when you're like sitting and sort of like laying down like on a beach chair or something, like that's how they are driving these cars. So it's insane. Like the whole concept of driving these cars that are built for speed and in order to win, like that's already an insane concept. And the people and the fact that we also have like people actually like building and driving these things, it's an insane thing. So I don't know. I don't really know like what am I expecting in terms of like craziest moments. Maybe it's gonna be like some like crashes, or maybe like some like things that the drivers do that are, I don't know, like why is that guy doing it? Like is it like he like, I don't know, like he got off the car when he wasn't supposed to and he was like, I don't know, walking around like the road. I don't know. I'm expecting to see some sort of things like that. But I don't know, so I'm super excited to check this out. So comment, like, subscribe, and start.
These are the craziest moments
car crash,
in
yes.
F1 history.
Oh my god, that was like
we got
hiding.
the fuel hose on. Kovalainen's car.
Oh, there was a fire in the pit lane as well. And there's Lewis Hamilton.
The car is just like turning back. Oh my god.
And first, we got the moment when someone invaded the track mid-race.
Invaded the
Got a
track.
lunatic on the track.
Oh my god, that guy's crazy.
60 miles an hour. Safety car out.
Are you insane? Like that man had a death wish.
This priest went crazy. But what's
God,
even
imagine
crazier
driving the car
is
and
the
seeing
moment
that
when a
insane
Red Bull
person
car
in the
went
road.
flying up in the air. At the 2010 Chinese Grand Prix, Toro Rosso driver Sebastian Buemi got in a terrifying crash when heading down the back straight at 180 miles per hour.
Oh my god, the tires!
Luckily,
Like,
Buemi escaped
oh
the
my
crash and nothing major happened.
Oh my god, I
But
can't
we
believe he's
can't say
okay.
the same for the crash in Monza, because that
Oh.
was pretty crazy. Australian driver Alex Peroni collided with a curb at 150 miles per hour. This terrifying
car's
collision sent him
flying.
flying through the air, flipping several meters before crashing into a safety
Oh my god,
fence.
yeah,
Peroni
in a fence.
surprisingly escaped the scene without any obvious injury, but his racing team later revealed that he did break a vertebra.
Oh my god, you broke a vertebra and he was
Getting an award
walking.
for still racing. And
Oh, he's
speaking
still
about
racing?
awards, nothing beats
Crazy.
the moment when Kimi Raikkonen got an award.
Why is it weird for him to get an award?
Opener was leading the championship. With 5 wins, he put up a great fight in the closing round.
Man, drunk Kimi's crazy.
Oh, because he
But
was
the moment
drunk?
wasn't as crazy
Oh, but
as
it doesn't
Mark
look
Webber's
like that
incident,
weird.
because what happened to him was simply unforgettable.
What?
At the 2010 European Grand Prix, Mark was already having a bad race to begin with, since he
Okay.
had dropped from P2 to P18. But what he didn't know is that his race was about to go from bad to worse.
Okay, what
In
happened?
lap 10, when Mark attempted an overtake on the fastest part of the circuit, Webber's front right tyre caught the rear of Lotus's driver Heikki Kovalainen's
Oh,
car.
no.
This impact sent his car flying in the
Oh
air,
my god, the
landing on
camera-
its
it's
nose
just
at
like-
190 miles per
No,
hour.
that's
before
insane.
Bouncing and crashing into the tyre barrier.
Oh
Luckily,
my
Webber
god.
wasn't hurt, but the car did become a total disaster.
Rubbish. Yeah, it's just rubbish, obviously.
But you know what else was brutal? How about the time when one driver took out 7 cars out of the race in one
7?
instance? Or the time when one driver almost retired from the race, but instead ending up winning it? We'll get
Okay,
to
well,
all
that's
of that
good.
in this video.
Okay,
But first,
let's see it.
Let's talk about the time when Michael Schumacher got involved in a situation which has only happened once in
Okay,
F1
what?
history.
What
With
is it?
Schumacher leading by just 1 point and Villeneuve trailing behind, the stakes were as high as they could be at the European Grand Prix. So
Okay.
both drivers were trying to set their best times in qualifying. However, what actually happened was something no one saw coming. They both set the same exact time.
Oh
Exactly
my
the
god.
same, down
Right to
to
this.
milliseconds.
Yeah, to the
And to make
millisecond?
matters even more complicated, Villeneuve's teammate Frentzen also set the same time in qualifying.
Okay,
now that's
what?
crazy. But not as
What
crazy as
happened?
the moment in the 2011 Canadian
That's
Grand
insane.
Prix, because what happened there was nothing less than a miracle. In the
What?
rain-soaked track,
My God,
Jensen Button
the
started
conditions are
P7,
awful.
and at lap 7, the race got a safety car when Jensen collided with teammate Lewis Hamilton, which forced Hamilton to retire. But when the race resumed again on lap 13, Button also got a drive-through penalty for speeding behind the safety car, which left
Oh,
him back
yeah,
in
you can't do
15th
that.
place. Now, seems like things couldn't get any worse for Jensen,
Yeah.
right? Wrong.
Yes.
'Cause
Oh,
fast
it gets
forward to lap
worse?
37, he was involved in another collision with
Oh,
Alonso, which forced the
another.
Spaniard to retire. The collision, however, punctured Jensen's car too, which ended him in the last place.
Oh, yeah, now he can-
1
he
minute
can
30
race.
seconds behind race leader Vettel. But Button still didn't give up. He quickly made up positions and was 14th
Oh.
by lap 44, and by lap 46, he had caught Maldonado and Alguersuari and passed others too for 10th place.
Oh my
And with
God.
his tyres changed to slicks due to the drying line, Button made his way to the front, getting past Michael Schumacher and Mark Webber before setting his eyes on Sebastian Vettel with only 5 laps remaining.
Oh my
On the final
God.
lap, Vettel had a 0.9 second lead and seemed like he was about to win, when suddenly Vettel made a costly error at turn
Oh, he
6.
didn't?
He ran wide, causing his RB7 to spin under pressure just halfway through the final lap, which allowed Button
Yeah.
to overtake
You
and
lost-
win
you
the
lost
race.
precious seconds.
From last position to first.
That's crazy.
Now,
Oh my
that's some
God.
comeback story.
Yeah, the right-
It
the-
just
yeah, it's
shows
not
that
over
you
until
should
it's
never
over.
give up in this sport. Everything
Yeah.
went wrong up until when I won the race.
It went wrong until I
Clearly,
won.
It was one of the best rain races
Wow.
ever. But while
Incredible.
rain helped Jensen's race, we can't say the same for Lewis Hamilton, because what rain did to him and others in European GP was simply ridiculous. After the
What?
start of the race, Nürburgring suddenly got hit by a huge rainstorm, and soon it became so unbearable that drivers couldn't even control their cars anymore.
I'm guessing that that's what
was
happens in the
first to
rain.
spin off the track. Then there goes Lewis Hamilton, then Adrian Sutil, then Nico Rosberg, Scott Speed, and
Oh my
Vittorio
gosh.
Liuzzi.
It's like a
All
parking
in the
lot.
same
Of
corner
course,
within
yeah.
seconds. I mean, the whole circuit turned into a river. Now that's crazy. But still not as crazy as what Sebastian Vettel did in Monza, because that was just unbelievable. Before the 2008 Italian Grand Prix, Sebastian Vettel had only taken 19 points in his F1 career while lining up
Okay,
for the
that's
Scuderia
bad.
Toro Rosso racing team. But what he did in Monza changed everything. 21-year-old Vettel stunned the world by claiming the pole position for the Toro Rosso STR3 team.
Oh my God, they're praying.
That wasn't the most spectacular thing to happen at the race weekend, because the German driver also won the race, finishing
Oh.
a resounding 12 seconds ahead of Heikki Kovalainen's
12 seconds,
McLaren.
that's a lot.
It was a true underdog story, because not only was it Vettel's first win, but also the small racing team's first ever win in Formula One.
Oh,
Even Toro
that's
Rosso's
so
team
nice.
principal couldn't believe it. It's just unbelievable, Sebastian wrote something.
You can't-
in Formula
you can't
One
believe
history
he won?
today. We also dream of a podium, and the first podium is P1 in Monza, the most amazing racetrack in the
Oh,
world.
that's so nice. But it's
Damn.
funny that he's like,
Do
I
you
can't
know
believe we
what's really
won.
unbelievable? The horrific crash that shocked the world.
Oh my God.
It was 1993, and legendary driver Damon Hill took the checkered flag at the Belgian GP. But that wasn't the highlight of the race. As other drivers were pushing towards 200 miles per hour to make it to
That's
the finish
so
line,
fast.
Minardi's teammates Christian Fittipaldi and Pierluigi Martini were running close to each other. And soon, Fittipaldi with his M193 got a little too close when he tried to overtake Martini.
That's bad, right?
But then, disaster happened. Because
He
instead
crashed?
of having a simple touch between both drivers, Fittipaldi's car flew into the air, did a 360-degree backflip before
Oh my God,
landing,
360
and
backflip?
still managed to get across the line.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that actually happened. Luckily, this dangerous
There's no
moment
tire.
left no one hurt, and both finished the race without losing any position. But this incident did leave
That's
Fittipaldi
insane.
enraged with his teammate. I was so glad to be alive. I won't waste time in my life to argue with a fool like him.
Wow,
For me,
those
he was
are
dirty,
fighting words.
An imbecile. From that day, I never talked to him again. I have nothing against him, but for me, him and a trash can on the street. is
trash can on the
same
street are
thing.
the same
I
thing.
don't think we're going to see a moment that crazy again, and we'll
my
probably
God, he never
gonna
spoke to
see
him
anything
again?
like this next moment again either, which surprisingly happened not that long ago. A lot of people already know that Esteban Ocon won his first F1 race in the 2021 Hungarian GP. Now, even though this was huge, it still wasn't the biggest thing that happened in the race.
That's bad for him.
And literally at the first corner, ex-Mercedes driver Valtteri Bottas broke too late and ran into the back of Lando Norris. This caused Red Bull drivers Verstappen and Perez to also get caught up in the collision.
Oh no.
So
yeah, you get more cars.
In one instance. But that wasn't all, because Aston driver Lance Stroll also made a mistake, colliding with Leclerc.
Oh my god, everyone's colliding against each other.
McLaren. All of this happened in the same one corner at the same time. Now that's
Again?
just crazy. And because of this, the race was obviously
It's
red
just
flagged.
like, no.
What's interesting is that before this incident, all the drivers were racing on intermediate tyres. But at the time of restart, the track had already dried out almost instantly. So at the restart, all the drivers pulled into the pits for a fresh set of slick tyres, except one, Lewis Hamilton. This made Hamilton the only one starting the race on the starting line, while the rest lined up in the pits. The only one. I mean, what a bizarre moment. But as bizarre as it was,
but did he
it wasn't
what?
crazy enough as what
No.
Ayrton Senna accomplished, because what he pulled off in Brazil was simply unbelievable. Ahead of the race in 1991, Senna claimed pole position, outrunning the Williams duo of Riccardo Patrese and Nigel Mansell, teammate Gerhard Berger, and Ferrari's Jean Alesi.
Okay, so
and
everyone.
Prost. Senna even had a perfect start to the race, sprinting away ahead of the rest of the drivers. However, after Senna pitted, Mansell cut his lead to just 7 seconds and was closing in on the Brazilian. And to make matters worse, Mansell's conviction to win grew even stronger when Senna's gearbox began to fail as he lost the fourth gear, and by lap 60, Mansell cut Senna's lead in half.
Of course he's gonna win.
For Senna, at the 61st lap, Mansell had his own gearbox issue as it slammed into neutral, then second, which ultimately sent the British driver into a spin and out of the race. But at the same time, Senna quickly lost all the gears as well.
Oh my god, he lost all the gears?
With Williams' Patrese hot on his tail. But somehow, in an unbelievable way, Senna maintained the sixth gear till he crossed the finish line, 2.9 seconds ahead of Patrese, which earned him his first home race win. This race was so difficult for Senna that the pain of trying to keep the car under control even caused him to develop muscle cramps. And it was so severe that he literally had to be lifted from his car.
Oh my god, he can't even move.
To stand on the podium. Man. Now that was...
Oh my god, he couldn't even move afterwards.
Do you know what else was brutal? The most devastating crashes that happened in F1. Like one crash that Verstappen caused, which ended up destroying an F1 driver's career. Or another crash which was so unbearable that it even bankrupted the entire F1 team.
Bankrupt?
I want to know more about this, so just click the video right here.
Oh my god. Okay, there's like a lot of insane things happening. Like I was assuming that yes, because again, it's an insane situation. Like when you're like driving like these cars at that amount of speed, of course, like it's bound to happen. Like there's some crazy stuff. But I'm surprised. Like again, like I didn't even know like you can get cramps because I know that, like I said, I know that you're like in a weird position when you're like driving the car. But I really don't really understand how you're actually like driving the thing. I think they have buttons. I know that much. Like the little wheel has buttons and you have to like memorize them. But I don't think they have, I don't even know if they have like pedals, like, or if it's all just like buttons that you push. But I don't understand how that the last driver, he had cramps, like he had to get lifted out of the car because he was like, I really can't stand. And when he won, when he was like, please can someone like hold me? I can't really stand. It goes on to show like, I don't really know like the amount of effort of like physical effort that it takes for these drivers to actually like drive those cars, because it looks like, again, it's just like a wheel with like buttons and you're thinking, oh, maybe it's not that hard. It's just like a wheel. But it goes to show like you need a lot of like physical powerness to actually like drive those things. But I think it was also because like they said, and I don't know, because this was a couple of years ago, well, more than a couple, I think it was in the 90s, the early 90s. So I don't know how changed like the driving system has. It is like these days. I don't know how different it was back in the day. But the like you have to have some effort in your body to like maintain the car. So I don't really know. Maybe it's because you have to keep like a lot of like your weight on it. So maybe like the car doesn't like steer into any like weird directions and in any direction like you don't want to. Maybe it's because of it. But it must have been like incredibly sweet of him to like, hey, I really did earn it. Not that you don't really earn it always, but the fact that you're like, hey, you know, I actually like it's probably like sweeter in the sense of like, you know, like the amount of things I had to do to actually like get a win. And it was like his hometown like win, so great. Although it must like it cost him dearly, but maybe that's why like it's sweeter and it's better because it cost him more. Like the amount of effort that I have to put into this race, like it was insane, but it paid off. Like I won in the end, so you know, great. But the crashes are crazy. It's so funny. Like there were two instances of like they both a lot of cars just like crashed in the same curve. So it's like, okay, obviously like it's not you or the car. It's just it's something that's happening in that area. It's like a cursed area in the racetrack. It's like you need like holy water. You need an exorcism or something to like get rid of it. But it's really like, of course it's insane when those things happen. Like what do you mean? Like all the crashes are happening in like one little place, in one little spot. But I think also like probably my other favorite was the one with the guy that like he overtook, like he was in 14th place or something, or last place, and then he ended up winning. Like it's something that I don't know how common it is. I'm guessing like not that common. That's why he's like it's a compilation of like craziest moments. I don't know how many times that has happened like throughout the Formula One history. But it's gotta be like pretty insane, and it's a good feeling. It's a good like valuable lesson. Like he said, like I wasn't about to give up. So it's like, don't give up. You never know, because even if you're starting last, you're thinking, oh, so you're gonna race, but you're probably thinking, oh my god, like obviously I'm not gonna win. Like I'm gonna end up losing, and he ended up winning. So it's like you never know how like what other factors may be in place. So he just like probably he was like, no, you know what, I'm in last place, but I am going to finish this, and I'm going to finish this in a good position, and he ended up winning. Again, I don't know how common it is, but again, like the game is not over until it's over, so don't give up. It's a good lesson. But yeah, I really love this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.